Nado by reaching Adelante Semis. All right, that's too much coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All right, we'll take this commercial break. We'll be right back shortly.
FM 94.9.
Wait. Remember our guy, Femo? What a character.
Yes, remember his usual 15 naira for 1 hour bundle on YouTube.
As in, he always knows the latest hits and bangers.
Yes, so even his comedy and series game is do it on your own. And also his come and see how to be this and that. Bros is well-rounded.
Ada, come and see how to be a fashion designer.
Get 1 hour of YouTube video data for 50 naira and 3 hours for 130 naira on the MTN network. Simply dial *131 *8 1 hash today. There's YouTube data for everyone on the MTN network.
When something correct go show, we go see and well. Now we time to choose. Waiting correct for Naija. Correct. Light will no get head, the correct. Nah, he no correct. All the promise and fail, the correct. Nah, he no correct. Stable power supply, correct. PRP and color, correct. Color. Correct for the people. Now him we need, make Naija for the correct. Color. Correct for the people. With PRP, party with the golden key. Color correct. Correct for the people.
Vote the correct team of Kola Abiola and Haro Zago for president and vice president.
PRP, victory!
Are you looking for a quality hybrid of solar and wind? Solar panel, inverters, street lights, wind turbine, batteries. Well, look no further. Greater Light Power Limited is here to serve you with uninterrupted power generation, which makes them different from others. Greater Light Power Limited offers American-trained engineers for your installations. Contact Greater Light Power Limited at number 2 Ojo Badon Avenue, Old Bodija, Ibadan. For more information, call 0805 852 1994 0817 759 5000. Website www.greaterlightpowerlimited.com. Greater Light Power Limited, bringing you a brighter life.
You fit fly in Kejalo.
Assalamu alaikum gbogbo Mùsùlùmí. Ilẹ̀kùn Hajj 2023 ti ṣí sílẹ̀. Fún gbogbo ẹni tó fẹ́ bá wa ṣèrìn àjò lọ́dún yìí. Ilé-iṣẹ́ alálùbáríkà You Fit Fly ní pé gbogbo wa o. Hajj ìtọ́dún ní yàtọ̀ kọjá àtàtẹ̀yìnwá. Ṣé ti wá mọ̀ pé àtètè sùn ní àtètè jí? Ọ̀pọ̀ ti ń fowókọ́lẹ̀ nílé-iṣẹ́ You Fit Fly. Ẹ̀yin náà tètè bá bọ̀ wá fowókọ́lẹ̀ fún Hajj 2023 tí ó wáyé láàrin ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kẹfà sọ́jọ́ keje oṣù keje ọdún 2023 pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀ ètò tó mú ìgbádùn rẹpẹtẹ dání. Ilégbé ìrọ̀rùn tí ò jìnnà sí haram àti mọ́sálásí ànábì Mádínà. Síyárà ọ̀fẹ́ lójoojúmọ́. Oúnjẹ àjẹdọ́wẹ́kẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta lójúmọ́. Tó fi mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ètò tí ó mú ká ṣe àṣepé hajj tọdún ní. A jẹ́ pé a máa ń fàkókò ṣòfò mọ́. Ẹ wá darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn hujjaj lọ́fíìsì You Fit Fly tó wà ní Success House 7 Up Road Olúyọ̀lé Main Estate Ring Road Ìbàdàn tàbí kẹ́ pè 0703 711 7801. Hajj 2023 pẹ̀lú You Fit Fly. Inshallah, àjọlọ́ni.
It's time to enjoy fast and reliable internet connection for less.
It's time to go big in the INT'L Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer.
It's time to take advantage in the INT'L Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer. Get a MiFi with up to 125 gigabyte bonus data for just 5,000 naira, or a router with up to 240 gigabyte bonus data for just 10,000 naira. Visit any INT'L shop or www.airtel.com.ng/HBB now.
INT'L, the smartphone network. 32 FM, 94.9.
Glad to know you're still there. 32 FM 94.9. I am OLUTAYO Ogunade.
And I'm GBOLABO, famous call.
Professor Olojadokun joins us for the analysis. Good morning, Prof.
Top of the day to you all.
Good to have you live in the studio.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, let's quickly look at this. And this is from Daily Sun newspaper, and it says Buhari wants to this because this has become a major dilemma for Nigeria. Each time, it's always a question of the international community wanting to interfere. Do we also see that for the 2023 elections itself?
Well, there's no doubt that if the international community didn't have some influence of some sort, that Buhari might not be president today. They intervened then to ensure that we had free and fair election. And I think the extent to the intervention usually is through the monitoring teams that they send to ensure that the elections are free and fair and that there is no shenanigans going on in terms of the process. And I think if that is the extent of their intervention, to ensure that we have a fair, a level playing field and that people are able to exercise their franchise, then people will say, well, that's a welcome intervention. But if the intervention is in favor of a particular candidate, then of course that's not welcome at all because it's not their business. We decide, we choose whoever we choose, whether it's a good candidate or whether it's a bad candidate. I think the president is just, being cautious in his remarks by saying they shouldn't intervene. In other words, trying to tell them, remind them of their responsibility. Their responsibility is not to intervene to favor a candidate, but to intervene to ensure that there's a level playing field.
All right, let's also look at this. Still talking in the light of the election, INEC is also bound to pressure extending the time frame for PVC collection. One had expected that INEC would have put his house in order by now, and the level of sensitization would be better off with the likes of the NOA and the rest that are on ground to actually enlighten a number of the electorate. But INEC appears to be choked with so much responsibilities, and now it has to do this, and many people will say this is a shoddy thing. How do we look at this?
Well, we might also say that it's because a lot of people have not being able to pick up their PVCs. In other words, INEC has a responsibility, but we also have a responsibility, which means to pick it up. And I think INEC has devised ways in which people can identify where to pick up their cards. But having said that, there are areas where people have been queuing for days and have not been able to collect their PVC. So, of course, INEC hasn't got it completely right. But by and large, I think it's welcome, the extension, so that as many people as need to pick up their PVC, because there's quite a lot of PVCs that remain uncollected. And this election is not going to be determined by social media. It's not going to be determined by rallies we're having all over the place. It's going to be determined by those who have the PVC and decide on election day to go out and exercise their right to vote.
How do we have to vote or beg people to go get their PVC?
Well, some people just can't be bothered for whatever reason, and those are the people that cry loudest when things do not go right. And so I think it's the height of irresponsibility. You've gone through the rigmarole of registering, and then when it comes to collecting your PVC, you simply cannot. But we must also acknowledge the fact that there are some people who, because of their work, are unable to do that. But having said that, Saturdays and Sundays, I understand, are also included in the days you can collect. So you have no excuse if Saturdays and Sundays have been freed up for you to go and collect your PVC. It is your civic responsibility. If we say things are not going right, and if we make lamentation, then let us follow it up with our actions and vote. Even if you vote candidates which people feel are not the best candidate, it's your choice. Vote someone rather than just sit down at home and mope.
Now, INEC even said they are encouraged by the turnout, the surge, the number of persons who've registered, and of course the numbers collected so far. What do you see us doing differently at this year election?
I think people bet more in this election than in any other election because of the new the introduction of the Electoral Act, the electronic transmission of results, and of course the PVCs, the beavers. And I think people think it might matter more. Previously, people have always said, no matter what you do, you understand, whoever they want to rig in will get into the office. But I think it's becoming more difficult. People have seen Ekiti elections, they've seen Edo elections, they've seen Osun elections, and I think based on that, people have more confidence in the electoral process. The more confidence you have, the greater and the better the turnout. will be.
Do we also begin to talk about unbundling of INEC? Because it appears that INEC is having so much responsibilities. It's actually looking at how much campaigns, and it's also looking at the structures of some of these political parties in terms of who they're fielding to actually come and fly the party ticket itself. Do we begin to look at the unbundling of INEC, because the sensitization aspect of it is very key?
Yes, so some people have argued that INEC has enormous responsibilities pre-election, during election, and post-election. And so people have suggested that INEC in itself, you understand, should be some of their responsibilities actually be removed from them. And when you look at other countries, INEC is part of the local government structure in other countries. Where INEC is always there. It's always doing their job. You have no formal national body, as it were. So the electoral process is so decentralized that all that happens is that the results are collated at the end of the day, and it's very difficult to manipulate from that process. But here we are in Nigeria, we have a central body, and that central body is responsible. INEC needs to be able to master what it's doing best. So if we want an electoral body that is in charge of elections, let's have it. And then if we want a body that is in charge of pre-elections, then let's have it and post-elections. But we must not over-labor or belabor the INEC. For us, the most important thing, first and foremost, is that we get free and fair election, and then from there. But it's building blocks. We are here 22 years or whatever, you understand, of unimpeded democracy or civil rule, as I like to call it. So I think we will get better with time. We keep on expecting
data from the budget office of the Federation. This is from 2015 to 2023 fiscal year.
Yes. In other words, it's been going up every year. And part of the reason why it's been going up every year is because the revenue has declined, comparatively, and we've not been able, you understand, to public expenditure. So we have declining revenues, and we have run away, which we are unable to maintain from that point of view. And also, we also have a philosophy here. Somebody the other day was comparing us with America and advanced countries, that they have a higher ratio or debt. But what they forget is that America, the dollar is the reserve currency of the world. They can export debt. In fact, that's what they do. They export the debt across the world. Nigeria is not a convertible currency. Naira is not. It's not the reserve currency. And therefore, we have different indices. And what also happens is that the more you have in deficit, the more your credit rating goes. And when your credit rating lowers, what does it mean? It means that the cost of borrowing actually goes up. In other words, it's more expensive to service loans, more expensive to get loans. So I think one of the areas this government has failed woefully, it's the ability to curtail public expenditure. When Buhari came in, one of the things he said was that things like the jets of the presidential fleet will be reduced, and a number of other things. So they've been not able to do it. But the more crucial thing is that in terms of revenue, you understand, we've had a declining revenue, even when we have a boom in the world in terms of petroleum, in terms of oil. And I think that's the major indictment on the government.
Now, let's also look at this. Federal government is wooing Spanish investors for 7 oil blocks. Now, why would the federal government go this route?
Well, the fact is that a lot of people that foreign investors that came for oil blocks and invested, a lot of them have left. And the reason why a lot of them have left is when there's time for a cash call, they do their own bit of it. The federal government is unable to do its own bit, from that point of view. They're always lagging behind. And of course, foreign investors hop and go because they need to make money. They're not in it for charity. So I think the government now is now looking towards Europe to see whether there are any of them interested. They would be interested if they get assurance that their investments will come to roost. Otherwise, they would not be interested from that point of view. And you need to have security for those oil wells, of course, unimpeded flow, and you need to ensure that the oil bunkering, which has incapacitated a lot of these oil wells, you understand, is put to a stop. When I mean oil bunkering, I'm not talking about stealing 1 or 2, you understand, barrels or whatever. We're talking about massive oil bunkering that has been going on for quite a while.
All right, let's go to Osun State. The People's Democratic Party in Osun State yesterday accused the state chapter of the All Progressives Congress of planning an attack on the venue of the tribunal hearing petition against the victory of the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke. Osun Tribunal takes final addresses today.
Yes, one wonders whether people actually believe in judiciary, because if they did, then you wait for the results, you wait and allow the judiciary to perform its job rather than mobilizing yourself for whatever. Because no matter what happens today, the judges will make up their minds and they will do it in accordance, I hope, with the evidence that is received. But I think that PDP is just nervous. They're nervous that APC, because they're almost equally matched. And so they're very nervous. I'm not sure they've been able to produce evidence that APC is thinking of attacking. So what they believe is that the best form of defense is attack, be on the offensive, and put them on the offside. At least if you mention this, then if the APC were planning anything, speculatively, then maybe they would reserve those kind of activities. But let's wait and see what the tribunal is going to declare. It's already clear that there were some issues that came out during the hearing where they said there might have been overvoting or so on and so forth.
Sufficient to get Adeleke out of office?
I'm not sure that it's sufficient, but it's something that the APC may want to hold on to on appeal or whatever.
All right, let's also say this, Doctor. EFCC shortlists 26 bidders for forfeited assets. And that has been one asset that Nigerians have been asking for transparency when it comes to the issue of national asset and assets that are supposed to be forfeited. Now, would we say that the level of transparency here will be something that we can really judge?
Well, I think the FCC is trying its best. They are publishing a lot of information, a lot of figures, and I think they're doing better than they've done in the past. But the reality of it for most Nigerians is that they're not so much interested in the assets that have been forfeited or seized. They're interested in how this betters their life, how this goes back into the budget cycle, reduces the deficit, ensures that the critical sectors of the economy, are financed. That's what they're interested in. So accountability is good. The publishing the figures are good, but what next? Are we sure that this money is not going back to be relooted? And I think that's the skepticism, the cynicism of the Nigerian populace.
All right, let's also go back to the elections. And of course, there is an equation here on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And this says Northwest, Southwest top 93.5 million likely voters. Now, how did we get this figure, especially for the Southwest? Now, the summing up means 93.5 million. Now, that's a whole lot. But how many of those people have gotten their PVCs? That's another question.
Yes.
And what is the likelihood that all of these people will vote at the elections?
Yes. Let's just be very clear that we have about 43 million or thereabouts of those people are young people. And so that's quite significant. And I think for people to vote, there must be some kind of incentive and they must be highly inspired or highly mobilized. There's no guarantee that a lot of those people will vote. But there's a guarantee if it's going to be transparent, if people believe in the electoral process. And I think people are being convinced that through BVAS and through the electronic transmission, that the results will count. So I think there's a greater chance that more people will vote this time. You also realize that more people register this time than before. So I think that's going to translate into voting, particularly on the part of the youths. There are many youths who have two options. You either jackbar or you participate in the electoral process, which will change your fortunes. And I think many people are realizing that not all of us can leave the country. Not all of us have that advantage. And so what do? We stay here and we salvage it through the electoral process. So I think that's a motivation for people to participate and get involved in the electoral process. You do it because you think, your life is going to be better.
Now, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has said the presidential candidate of the APC will get his vote and support in 2023. And he said, you underestimate him to your peril.
Well, first and foremost, the nominee for governorship Lagos, and he became the governor, and of course he was supported by Asiwaju Tinubu. So some will say that of course he will be loyal to him, and of course he's a member of the APC, he's a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the APC is the governing party, so we expect him of course to say that. But Babatunde Fashola is such a credible figure that when he says things like that, you have to interrogate it seriously and actually consider the point. And I listened to the interview, and as usual, Babatunde Fashola was very articulate, and of what he's saying, you begin to wonder, maybe Fashola is actually saying the truth, maybe. But having said that, there are always two sides to it all. And I'm sure that there will be other people who will be very articulate in opposing a particular candidate or the particular candidate that Fashola is supporting. But no doubt, very robust defense, a very robust case has been made for Asiwaju to be the president of Nigeria.
How striking is this comment, Doctor? Don't hand over ailing Nigeria to sick man or be one's electorate. Now, the politicians are actually getting much more very dramatic in terms of actually getting their popularity at this polls itself. But now going very personal, will this help the electoral process itself?
I'm not sure that it will, but what the politicians are doing is they are now ventilating and they are now verbalizing many of the things that we've been saying on social media. And I think it started with Tinubu as reference to Atiku, and Atiku responded, and now they will be as coming to the fray. But what it does is that you don't negative publicity. Some people say, publicity is good publicity, but I say that in an election process, you don't want negative publicity, especially if you are the front runner. You just want to coast quietly, no dramatics, no drama. And when you get all these things being brought to the fore, it makes people think again and it makes people think twice. But what I would say is that a vast majority of people have already made up their minds. And no matter what you say about any particular candidate, I think a lot of people have made up their minds. The crucial are those 30 or so % that have not made up their minds. And I think the question is whether this information is going to sway any of them either way.
All right, let's also look at reactions trailing Doyin Okupe's erroneous arrests. Now, it's been said that it's an attempt to embarrass him, says the Labour Party. What is so special about Doyin Okupe here?
Well, Doyin Okupe, of course, was Director General of the presidential campaign of Obi. Doyin Okupe was special assistant to Obasanjo at some time. He's a medical doctor by training. And Doyin Okupe was recently, I use the word convicted, of money laundering or matters associated with money laundering, even though he was able to pay the fine and he was let off. EFCC in their defense have said they haven't updated their records, they continue to review it. But I think EFCC goofed. What happened is that this is a 2016 watch list, where in 2022, you understand, you'd have expected them annually or whatever, or even more than that quarterly, because if he was going for a vital medical checkup, and it was time sensitive, this could have had repercussion. So they've apologized, they got it wrong. And I think the problem with Nigeria is that when people get it wrong, heads don't roll. You've never expected that one head will roll or two heads will roll. So but nothing's going to happen.
That was just done to embarrass him.
Well, some people are saying it's done to embarrass him. I really don't know, but I think that somebody needs to come and explain it adequately, and somebody needs to take account for that action, because it's political season. What happens in places like United States is that political sensitive actions are suspended. You understand? While elections are going on, anything that will embarrass a candidate. Well, unfortunately, in Nigeria, our institutions do not make distinctions.
We'll go on another commercial break. We'll be back.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
It's time to enjoy fast and reliable internet connection for less.
It's time to go big in the INT'L Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer.
It's time to take advantage in the INT'L Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer. Get a MiFi with up to 125 gigabyte bonus data for just 5,000 naira, or a router with up to 240 gigabyte bonus data for just 10,000 naira. Visit any INT'L shop or www.airtel.com.ng/HBB now.
INT'L, the smartphone network.
They are giants in every sense of the word, and they bring entertainment that's just as big. Don't miss the first ever season of Big Brother Titans with Naija and Mzansi contestants under one roof. Get ready for intense drama, romance, and cameras 24/7. It's an unmissable season. Big Brother Titans starts on Sunday the 15th of January on DSTV 198, GoTV 29, and Africa Magic. Get and stay connected to DSTV and GoTV for the biggest takeover. Big Brother Titans is rated 18. Headline sponsors Bamboo, Flutterwave, and Lotto Star.
Your Friday nights just got a massive reload. Catch a vibe and run with it on Club 32 with DJ Mascot, spinning you into musical heavens.
I don't want nobody to
Club 32, Max Cruise, Max Vibes, Max Hypes, Max Energy. It's happening on 32 FM 94.9 every Friday, 10 p.m. Turn up on Friday nights with DJ Mascot on Club 32. It's about to go down. It's about to be lit.
Better don land o! Close up toothpaste don carry the senior brother of Awoof enter town. When you buy 140 grams close up, you go get free 25 grams close up complete fresh protection with no extra cost. That is to say, for every 140 grams close up red toothpaste wey you buy, free 25 grams close up complete fresh protection dey there for you. Make una rush am as e dey hot before e finish. Close up, stay fresh and protected.
ọ̀rẹ́ wa fẹ́ mú ó máa yé jẹ bàjẹ́.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o ó rántí dátà wàásù tó máa ń ṣe láti lo YouTube fún wákàtí kan.
ìwọ kan já sóje yẹn àwọn èèyàn máa mọ gbogbo nǹkan ìgbàlódé tó ń sọ kútú wọ́wọ́.
ó tún máa mọ bá a ṣe ń dẹ́rìn pa àwọn èèyàn pẹ̀lú fáàrí tó pọ̀.
ó yẹ kó o rántí àpèjẹ́.
arákùnrin ṣe fúnra rẹ̀ àti wo bó ṣe lè di èyí tàbí tọ̀hún gbogbo níṣe ni bọ̀dá yẹn.
ṣàlẹ̀ wa wá wo bó o ṣe lè di aṣaṣọ lóge.
ra data fún wákàtí kan YouTube ní $50 tàbí wákàtí mẹ́ta fún $100 lórí ìlà MTN ẹ tẹ *131*8*1# lónìí.
32 FM 94.9.
FM 94.9. The lines to call are 0705 5949, 009 7949, and 0906 2949.
All right, let's look at more of the headlines this morning. And of course, still talking elections here. We have the APC PCC challenges Atiku on alleged corruption health status. Doctor, how do we address this?
Well, nobody knows anybody's health status because we don't have the medical. So people are just speculating on visuals and stuff like that. And visuals could be very deceptive. You know, somebody may look very healthy and may not actually be. Or somebody may look unhealthy and may be healthy. So I think it's just politics, you know. They're attacking Atiku's health. Atiku is attacking Bola Tinubu's health. And so the only person they're not attacking is health. I don't think anybody's attacking Obi's health. Nobody's questioning that.
And that actually is quite major. But now, how do we move away from personality kind of politics and be more issue-based? Because by now, I thought political leadership would be more aware of the responsibilities they are going in office to do, rather than actually going over each other's neck and forgetting the substance of what you're actually looking at.
Yeah, most of them already have manifestos. We know that. The problem with our political parties is that they don't have any real ideologies. And the ideology doesn't bind people. Therefore, people are not in political parties because of any belief or any ideology. They're there simply to acquire power. When we begin to get distinctive political parties with ideologies, then there will be less of all these personal attacks and all these shenanigans.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, the line isn't clear. Can you call us back? 0705 5949, 0906 2949, and 0705 5949. Hello. Hello.
All right, I guess we have some comments here on Facebook, and this is coming from Okediran Babatunde. It says, "Good morning, dear friends. Happy weekend to you. Foreigners should not intervene in our election to favor a particular candidate, but should be allowed to perform supervisory role as election observers, not only in urban areas, but also in remote villages and riverine areas."
Hello, good morning.
All right, morning.
Good morning, sir. I'm calling from Nara. Good morning to our listeners in the studio. Thank God the INEC extend the connection of PVC to another one. I want to urge our people to go and get their PVC because on election day, INEC will count their prayers. even those of us that are lamenting, or anytime we call on radio station, it's only PVC that we can use to vote a credible leader according to our choice. But by the forthcoming election, you try to vote wisely, because if you fit to do so, that means we continue to still witness what we have witnessed under this APC regime. But according to our party leaders, those president candidates in PPC and PDP, I don't know the essence of sign peace accord. They're supposed to shun the politics of bitterness or attacking each other. That's my own take. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Hello. Good morning. Okay, good morning. It's quite disheartening that Nigerians can be experiencing this fuel scarcity despite being one of the leading oil-producing nations, because what is going on, what is going to happen now that the marketers have said it's going to linger till June. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is GBOLABO from Malaki Ashaboru.
All right. Make a point.
The NECA, Nigeria Employer Council Association, said that Nigeria debt will reach 17 trillion by June this year. I don't know what our government is doing on this. The excessive burden is too much. If the word of Mohamed Lawal, we have something to go by, said that the incoming government to hold the excessive borrowing. But he has the opportunity of doing good when he is in office. He's now passing the body to the incoming government that they should stop excessive borrowing. It's not good now. The man is an hypocrite. He's supposed to do the right thing when he's in office and now passing the body to the incoming government. On the issue of INT'L, I want to give kudos to them for extending the collection of PPC to January 29. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Tayo.
Good morning.
This is Adoni. As much as I believe on the ability of Fashola to articulate his point, I want to also say that all he said at most times are not correct. He told us that Lagos-Ibadan Road have been paid for, and in 2022, before the end of 2023, to be delivered. Has it been delivered? The second Niger bridge will be delivered because it has been fully paid for in 2022. Has it been delivered? Now, let Fashola or Barrister Fashola explain to Nigerians what happened between him and the presidential candidate of APC when what's his name now? The former governor Ambode has to return the money that was paid by the government of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, because at the time Obasanjo was ruling, he seized the money of local government that Tinubu created. Let me explain to us what happened between him and Baba Tinubu.
All right, quickly.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
John Olarewaju from Aduwo. The first and foremost, speech, the statement by the Peter Obi, to me, I don't think that is too much, because we have to be very careful too about the person that we are going to vote for, the person that we are going to hand over the future of Nigeria to, because like what happened to Baba Buhari, we don't want the repeat of that. So we have to be very careful so that we will not be complaining to us or traveling to London to anywhere for their health's sake. That's for that one. And for the present President Ahmed Lawa, that is a hypocrisy statement by him, with due respect to him, because he told us when he was emerged as the Senate President that whatever Mr. President brought is good for Nigeria. And he's now telling us that the debt is too much, that Nigeria should be careful, Nigeria leaders should be careful how they will borrow the money. This is hypocrisy statement. It's a part of this thing. Right. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Tayo and GBOLABO. When a government is operated on deficit, the people suffer. When the deficit is unusual, like the case being reported, the failure of the leadership is clear and people's suffering multiplies. That's Raji Afiz Abidemi. Hello, good morning.
Tayo, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Prof. Good morning. Like some of the callers have said, I also joined them to commend INEC for extending it. Now, This is time for you and I, every one of us. You have not gotten your PVC. Please create time. Out of no time, we beg everybody, let's go and get our PVC so that we won't keep like Prof said. Prof, they called some of us that we're always lamenting. This is time to put that our lamentation into action and choose who you want that will make the change. Once again, I appeal to everybody. Please, let's create time out of no time. Get our PVC. That's the only thing that we can use to say no to what we don't want. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's the name and where you calling us from?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning. What's the name and where you calling us from?
Morning. Joseph from Bingo.
All right, go
Hello?
ahead, Joseph. Go ahead.
The man who criticized Fashola, the man is not, what he says is not reality. I pass Lagos Ibadan all the time. You cannot compare it. Lagos Ibadan is finished. You cannot for the fact that it's not to deliver. It's not a delivery, it's just a ceremony by commission. But if you pass Lagos Ibadan, it's not Lagos Ibadan of 6 years ago. The second Niger Bridge is saying, because you want to criticize somebody, you must have a point. If you look at this administration, Buhari administration, Fashola has been the only consistent minister that has been, his work is the one that is what you can see that this administration has achieved. Minister of Work, he has performed more than any other person. So somebody should not be, because of a political party or you are supporting somebody and condemn this. Go to Lagos Ibadan.
All right, we also have this coming from Facebook this morning, and this says, he is actually writing this from Enugu State, also Francis Ndamani says, good morning from here. Kudos to INEC for extending the deadline for PVC collection to January the 29th. I'm therefore calling on all the registered voters who have not collected their PVCs to do so as soon as possible, because this is the only way one can decide on who governs them. May God help us, also Francis. All right.
And from Okedran Babatunde, don't only vote collect your PVC, but endeavor to participate in selection of candidates at ward level to the national level. Above all, vote in credible leaders. Okedran Babatunde, thank you. Prof, we need to leave now.
Well, collect your PVC, use it, and be in the forefront of a change for a better Nigeria.
All right, my name is GBOLABO, Famous School.
Thank you, dear listener. I am OLUTAYO Ogunade.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the guest analyst and do not necessarily reflect the recommendations or perspectives of 32FM 94.9 Ibadan.